Welcome to Canning with the Hiltons. Today we will be canning tomato juice from the garden to the jar. Go.
The first step in canning tomatoes, you got to wash the tomatoes. So you dump them in the sink.
We come over and we keep our water running, and we're going to take our stems out. And we can always use a little melon baller if we need it, if we've got a tough stem. We don't want to fill our sink with water because if there's any kind of bacteria, it would just cross-contaminate from one tomato to the other. So we wash our tomatoes and get all the dirt and grime off, so we have a nice fresh product to start with.
So you're cutting the tomatoes in half and you're putting them on the tray. Doesn't matter what side's up or what side's down?
When you're making juice, it doesn't really matter because all we want to do is caramelize, so they can be either direction.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. If we're doing salsa, we want to turn skin side up on all of them. But with juice, it doesn't matter. So once we get the tray full, or where we think it's full, then we just kind of spread them around, one layer thick, and we put them over here with the ones ready to go in the oven.
Then we put the tomatoes in the oven to start blistering them. Close her up and you wait.
Till they turn.
And as you can see, the tomatoes will start getting a little bit of black. Right now they're just at the point where they're bubbling, they're starting to cook. You can see how hot that element is. It's just on broil. It's just going to cook those tomatoes, get them a nice little charred flavor to them.
Tray of tomatoes ready to come out.
So you'll see how black and charred and yummy and caramelized they are. They look burnt, but they're not. It's just a nice flavor. So either you just dump them straight into your pot, and then we're going to emulsion blender them, or you can use a potato masher, whatever way you want to do to break them up, chunk them up. Okay, so these tomatoes have cooked down now for an hour or so. We're going to now dump them in the food mill and get it into the consistency of the juice that we like to make. This is juice that we're going to drink, kind of like a tomato juice, V8 juice, but we also add it to our whole tomatoes to make it yummy and juicy tomatoes. This just takes all the skin off and all the seeds off and makes it nice and smooth and a great consistency, and all the seeds and the skin stay up in the food mill, as you can see. And now this is a huge food mill. You can get smaller ones.
And then if you look in there, you can see the nice juice.
And all the other stuff stayed up inside there.
Right.
We are now filling the jars. The juice has cooked down for an hour and a half, and we have lemon juice and salt in the bottom of each jar. We fill it, wipe the top off, put our hot lids on, and put it in our canner. Richard is going to put more juice in. We have our hot jars that have just come out of the dishwasher, and our hot juice is going into the jars.
You have to do this reasonably fast because the jar starts getting hot.
Wiping off the top, the rims of our jars. It's very important that they are clean so we can put our hot lids on our jars to put them in to can them. Make sure there's no chips, no cracks, no product on the top of the rims. We are now boiling our lids so we can put them on our clean white jars. Taking our lids, putting on top of each jar. take our handy dandy little wand to get our lids out of the boiling water. Not the easiest thing to do. Film and put lids on at the same time. So I think you get the idea. Jars. Remember, do not tighten your rings too tight. Finger tight just till you meet resistance. And that's how it's done. And then you will be canning, putting them in the water bath and processing them for 15 minutes. Remember, don't put your rings on too tightly. Jars in the canner, water's bubbling away. Picks up the jars, places them in the canner. When it's full, we will start our timer and we will time them for 15 minutes. After he has all of them in, and it has, each jar, everything has to be covered in an inch to 2 inches of water. A water bath canner. And when we pull them out, we want to make sure we pull them straight out very carefully and place them straight back down, not dumping off the water. We don't want to break our seal at this point. They haven't sealed until they start cooling down. They come out of the water. So it's very important to make sure you lift them straight up and straight down when you're taking them out of the water after processing for the right amount of time. And as soon as he gets these in, he's going to put the lid on. And we will start the timer. Yes, we have a large canner. We have 15 quart jars in this one. And we love it. So now he will place the lid on the canner. And I will start the process to time it.
We can't even sell any till we get rid of these.
Very important. Pick the jars straight up. Yes, you'll have water on top. That's okay. Let's pick those jars straight up out of the water. Hear that pop? That's music to our ears. That means the jar is sealed. We love to hear pop, pop, pop of canning. Straight up, set them down. Put this, hey, here we go again. Taking jars out of the canner, straight up and down. Leave the water there. It's okay. It'll evaporate. It'll be gone in a minute. Hear that popping? We love the popping. That's our music. Means they're all sealing. Pop, pop, pop. Yay. Yep. We had 100 pounds of tomatoes and we got 30 quarts of juice. With a little leftover, we'll make tomato soup for dinner. So, there we go. Getting all the jars out and the others are ready to go in. And then we'll be done. A day well spent canning our tomato juice. Okay, we've removed our rings because we never store our jars with rings on them. And we're washing all the residue off. We want clean jars to be stored for the winter because if there's any residue on, it will cause mold and you won't have a pretty jar. So you want a nice clean jar to put away for the winter. We have washed all of our jars and now we will put it away in the pantry. Now we're storing stuff in our pantry in a cool, dark place. We'll continue to fill our shelves and then close up the doors and we're ready for winter. Here goes the doors, a nice, cool, dark cupboard. Now you get to enjoy your juice all winter long. Right, fresh out of the garden is what it tastes like.